The story begins when there is a girl who appears to be apologizing. The girl then prostrates along with all her other subordinates. They do this to the Sage of Rainbow, named Cross Sama. Someone asks why he is still alive. It is told that Claude said to be the strongest hero in history. Sophia, a witch who can use various kinds of magic. Medill, a priestess who can heal all kinds of wounds. Mary, a thief who is able to see all kinds of traps. They all have talents and abilities worthy of being in the hero party. But himself, he doesn't have anything to be proud of. He only drags them all down. He is just a burden. However, why is he instead being pampered like this by all the girls in the hero party? Medill asks how his pillow is, whether Cross feels comfortable, and Cross can also touch her. Mary says that she will massage Cross's body, and Sophia says that she has made a drink that will eliminate fatigue. Cross, who blushes after hearing all that, says, "Seriously." He says that Claude is still watching the surrounding area, and they shouldn't just play around here. Claude then comes and asks what they are doing, and says that he will heal Cross. This makes Cross surprised to hear it. Claude says that Cross has defeated 50 monsters today. And on the other side, Cross says that they have defeated 150 monsters. He asks why they care so much about someone like Cross. They all answer because Cross is a good man. This makes Cross feel uncomfortable and says that's what people say about men who don't have worthy qualities. Cross says that he will work hard. He will go look for food ingredients for dinner. Mary says that she will come too, but Cross refuses because he can go alone. This makes Mary sulk, and Claude tells Cross to be careful. The situation becomes quiet for a moment after Cross leaves them all. Claude then says that they must have seen Cross earlier, and asks, "Isn't Cross really cute?" They all then talk about Cross, that he must be tired, but still really kind, especially his face that turned red earlier. Really cute. Then he looks cool and brave when fighting, and Medill goes together with Cross for inspection to the village. Claude says that he can even hug Cross. Cross personally gives drinks, and Mary gets a high five from Cross. The situation becomes heated after they all talk about Cross. An explosion is then created after Cross leaves them, which makes Cross surprised when he sees it. And he thinks that they are really enthusiastic during practice. The Demon King's army is really crazy today. They must be exhausted. Cross then decides something. He will make more delicious food today. When night arrives, knowing that Cross is late to come home, Claude wonders if Cross might have been kidnapped. This makes all the girls there surprised when they hear that statement. Mary says that Cross is too cute. Sophia says that they must find Cross as quickly as possible and asks should they burn the forest. Cross then comes and says sorry because he is late coming home. They all then approach Cross and ask where he has been. Cross tries to take something and says that he just finished looking for food ingredients for all of them. Knowing this makes them all impressed. Cross's kindness really makes Claude happy and invites them to eat everything. Cross thinks that they are worrying about him again. After all the food ingredients are finished cooking, Mary, who tastes the food, says that Cross's cooking is really delicious. Medill says that this is more delicious than the kingdom's cooking. Sophia says that she can't eat anything else besides Cross's cooking, and what should she do when their journey ends? Cross says that they are too excessive. He will cook for them even if their journey has ended. Sophia, who hears that statement, feels happy. Claude says that it's Cross's cooking. Even poisonous mushrooms he will eat like his favorite food. Cross, who sees it, is surprised because Claude eats something there that makes Claude hallucinate. Cross says that they will leave earlier tomorrow and invites them to rest. Mary, who is sleeping there, mumbles that Cross is truly a hardworking man. Claude, who is sleeping there, mumbles that Cross isn't he drinking too much. Medill, who is sleeping there, mumbles that Cross don't be there. Sophia, who is sleeping there, mumbles that the date with Cross today was really fun. While for Cross himself, he doesn't rest. It can be seen that Cross is practicing swordsmanship there. He says he must be faster and stronger. He must become stronger. Just cooking for them is not enough. He doesn't want to keep being a burden to them. Cross wants to stand fighting by their side. He definitely won't give up to achieve that. Claude, who appears to be sitting there, he asks what Cross is doing. Mary says that Cross is practicing as usual. Medill says that Cross must practice until morning again, and Sophia says that Cross will definitely return in a battered state again. Claude says if only Cross said this is difficult, then they just ignore the fate of this world. But Mary says that Cross will never say something like, this is difficult. Claude then agrees with that and says that they will protect Cross, even if it sacrifices their lives. With that, their journey continues without problems. They protect the village from hordes of monsters and destroy the Demon King's defenses. The victory of the human side is already within their reach. One of the 4 heavenly kings who is being defeated by the hero party there. Mary states that they have defeated those 4 annoying people. Claude calls Cross and says that they can finally get this far, and what remains is only the Demon King. Cross says that they can finally save people from the suffering caused by monsters. Upon arriving in the city, the hero party is welcomed very festively by the residents in that city. The residents state that the heroes have arrived in their city. They are welcomed so festively that there is even someone who invites Sophia to marry. A king happily says thank you to the hero Claude for coming all the way to their kingdom. Claude then bows his head and says thank you for the welcome, and the king says no need to be so formal. Moreover, because the hero Claude has come all the way here, Claude says that they will prepare first to defeat the Demon King. The king who hears that says that the kingdom will provide everything that the hero Claude needs. Relax until the preparations are finished. The hero party must be very exhausted. The king then looks toward Cross. He states that the hero party seems to bear quite a heavy burden. Everyone who hears the king's statement then laughs. Some people say that they feel sorry for the hero for carrying a burden like Cross. Why Cross can survive and be in the hero party, some people start insulting Cross as useless and unworthy to be seen by the hero. Cross starts thinking that it's the same in this country and he's still not used to it. He then gets surprised when he sees the facial expressions of his companions. Cross tells them to calm down. He tells his companions to be patient until they arrive at the inn. After they arrive at the inn and enter one of the rooms to make a strategy, Claude then invites them all to destroy this kingdom, but Cross opposes it. He says that if they let small insults like that affect them, then it will never end. Besides, the king does have a point. Claude says that it's not true. Thanks to Cross being with them all, he can become a hero. Thanks to that too, they can become a hero party. Cross, who hears that, then becomes silent. He thinks that it's true, there must be something he can do. They then continue their journey to defeat the Demon King and say that this is a long journey. Medil says that it's been about a year since they've been adventuring together. Mary says that this feels like it passed so quickly. Cross says that now it's finally approaching the end. They finally manage to reach the Demon King's castle. Cross, who sees the Demon King's castle, is surprised. He asks Claude, when returning to the kingdom, Claude will become a king, right? And asks all the girls there what they will do when they return later. Medil says that she will become a sister in the church. Sophia says that she will continue researching magic, continue with Cross, and Mary says that she plans to return to the Thief Guild. Cross says that the girls want to marry Claude. This is denied by the girls. Claude then asks Cross, what does Cross want to do when returning? Cross says that there are many things he wants to do. Adventuring leisurely seems good too, or opening a restaurant seems good too. Hearing Cross's statement about marriage, everyone then becomes silent. Claude then approaches Cross and invites him to go drinking together until morning. Cross then agrees to it, but the girls then approach Cross saying they also want to join. Cross says that they will party all night long. After finishing discussing that, they then hurry to defeat the Demon King. Upon arriving at the Demon King's castle and reaching his throne room, the Demon King says that the hero party has finally arrived too. Seeing the hero there, the Demon King hears that the hero has been so busy defeating his subordinates. Claude says that he will also finish off the Demon King quickly. The Demon King then tells them all to come forward. Claude, who will launch his sword slash at the Demon King, but the Demon King easily counters Claude's attack, which makes Claude thrown backward. Sophia, who appears to have already chanted magic there. With a facial expression full of intimidation, she then launches a very powerful magic attack on the Demon King. However, the Demon King manages to block the magic attack, but Mary quickly moves to the back. Medill tells Sophia to attack now. It can be seen that the Demon King there is off guard, and he is then bound by Sophia's attack. Claude then slashes at the Demon King, which makes the Demon King receive such a strong attack. It can be seen that the Demon King will soon be defeated. Cross, who sees it, becomes silent. He says that this is the power of the hero. Seeing the Demon King lying on the ground motionless, Claude then turns around and tells Cross that this is finally over. Mary then approaches Cross and says that she has worked hard and asks Cross to praise her. Cross, who sees it, smiles. But he then gets surprised. He sees that the Demon King lying there is still not defeated and appears to be chanting a spell. And at that time, Cross understands everything. He then runs forward to protect Claude from the final attack launched by the Demon King. Cross feels sure that he was destined for this moment. The Demon King says that humans are interfering again. However, this cycle of hatred will not end. Claude becomes surprised when he sees Cross receiving the final attack from the Demon King. Medill says that she will heal Cross, but she becomes surprised when she finds out. She says that the Demon King's curse cannot be healed. Sophia and Mary, who hear that, are surprised and say impossible. Claude wonders why Cross went that far just to protect someone like him. Cross, who is half conscious, then calls Claude and says that he can't go drinking with Claude. Claude, who sheds tears there, says no, but Cross, who sees it, smiles. He then says that they cry for him like this. He is truly a lucky person, even though he hoped he could help them more than this. Cross then drops his hand and ends with Cross Vish dying in the Demon King's castle. This makes the hero party feel sad about Cross's death. However, suddenly someone is called Sage Cross Vish. Seeing everyone prostrating there, apologizing to Sage Cross Vish, because of the late Demon King's curse, Cross-sama has reincarnated as a monster. From now on, Cross-sama must live in the demon world as a monster. Cross, who hears that, becomes puzzled. He doesn't believe all of that, and wonders if he reincarnated as a monster. He asks where this is and what actually happened. After they defeated the Demon King, then he died. Seeing the monsters there prostrating in front of Cross, Cross, who sees it, becomes silent. He says that this is a strange sight. He then remembers one thing. Rather than that, are Claude and the others okay? Cross thinks that he doesn't have any information, and this is too dangerous. Someone then comes and asks permission to speak. Cross then gets surprised. That person turns out to be a girl and says nice to meet Cross. Her name is Aura Feel, and just call her Aura. Cross, who sees it, wonders if that person is like a human girl. Aura says that she is the current Demon King. Cross becomes wary hearing that. Aura says to calm down first. She doesn't intend to hurt Sage-sama. Cross, who hears it, becomes confused. He asks who is the Sage-sama that Aura means, and it seems she got the wrong person. Aura asks if he is Cross-sama, right? The rainbow sage from the hero party, Cross-sama, right? Cross, who hears that cool title, becomes confused. Aura explains that Cross-sama is a mediator and harmonizer of the hero party, the only one who defeated the Demon King without special power. Cross then shouts that he is just a useless burden. He tries to calm himself and says misunderstanding piled up with misunderstanding, yes. He then asks Aura to explain his current situation. Aura tells him that the previous Demon King tried to reincarnate the hero as a monster so he could control him. However, because Cross-sama protected him, his plan failed and Cross-sama reincarnated instead of the hero. Aura then prostrates and really wants to apologize to Cross. She gives a mirror and tells Cross-sama to look at his own face. Cross receives the mirror and says thanks. When Cross looks at his face in the mirror, he is surprised because he has become handsome. This makes Aura confused seeing Cross-sama's reaction. Cross says that he has become cooler than before. He asks Aura if this is considered ugly among monsters. Aura, with a blushing face, says that Cross-sama has a handsome face. She tries to explain again that Cross-sama reincarnated as a monster. Cross says that he doesn't have any grudge against monsters. Aura says that she is ready to give her life to Cross-sama. But Cross then smiles and says, why should he take Aura's life? Aura didn't do anything wrong. Aura says that 10 years have passed since Cross-sama died, so it's understandable that Cross-sama is confused. Cross, who hears it, is surprised, and Aura says that reincarnation is not that easy. Cross asks how old he is now, which is answered 0 years old by Aura. Cross wants to ask about Claude and the others. However, the sound of a hungry stomach rumbles. Aura then asks them to eat first. Upon arriving at the dining room, it can be seen that it is cooking from the monster country. Aura tells Cross-sama to enjoy his first meal after being born. Cross will then taste the food. He then becomes silent when he realizes the taste of the food, and says that everything he has eaten until now wasn't even real cooking. He is happy to be reborn as a monster. Cross asks why the meat is so tender, what the sauce is made of, and can he make it too? Aura, who hears it, feels happy that her food suits Cross-sama's taste. Cross says yes, because food in the human world feels a bit rough compared to here. He wants Claude and the others to try this too. Aura says that if Cross-sama asks the servants, they will give it again. Cross then realizes something. He says that it's not monsters who lost to humans, the hero only defeated the Demon King. Aura, who hears that, laughs a little while being puzzled. Upon arriving at the monster city, Cross, who goes with Aura to see the scenery, is amazed by the monster city and says that this city might be bigger than the human capital, seeing the children there who are playing. And there are also monsters who have gone shopping. The atmosphere in the monster city looks so peaceful. Cross says that from now on he will live life as a monster, and asks if he should fight humans too. Aura answers that it's not necessary, and says that she actually has a dream to build trade relations between monsters and humans, to create a world where monsters and humans don't fight. Cross, who hears that, becomes surprised. He thinks about a world without conflict, the future they dreamed of. There are still things he can do. Cross then calls Aura and says that he wants to help realize Aura's great dream. Aura, who hears it, is amazed. Cross thinks that there is still a chance for him to stand together by their side. Aura says that this is the first time someone has said something like that to her. They then shake hands, and Aura asks Cross-sama to lend his strength. On the other side, on a hill, it can be seen that there is someone's grave there, which turns out Crossfish is buried there. And it can be seen that there are 4 people who come to the grave. Those who come to the grave are the hero party, and Claude, who is holding flowers there. Mary says that it's been 10 years and 184 days since Cross's departure. Medill apologizes because she can only come every 3 days lately because she is very busy. Sophia says it's been a long time since they all gathered. She wonders if Cross is happy there. Mary says that she remembers their journey. She misses Cross's delicious cooking. The atmosphere becomes quiet for a moment. And Claude says why Cross left the hero party. He says that today they have something they want to say to Cross. He is sure Cross doesn't want this. But the hero party can't forgive them. Claude, with a face full of anger, says that the hero party will exterminate all monsters. In the world that Cross protected, there is no place for monsters. Monsters and humans, the destined conflict between former hero party has begun.